course not. I didn't tell myself. I mean, I thought, oh, I did that. I don't have to do it again.
A 50-year love story, a fashion icon, a media titan, and a secret that was hiding in plain sight. Diane von Furstenberg and Barry Diller have one of the most powerful and baffling marriages in modern history. A partnership that has fascinated and confused the public for decades. They built an empire together, their names synonymous with glamour and success. But the truth of their relationship, the real foundation of their unbreakable bond, is far more shocking and unconventional than anyone ever imagined. What was the secret they kept for half a century? A truth that would eventually rewrite all the rules of love and marriage. Diane von Furstenberg wasn't just a designer. She was royalty in every sense of the word. Born in Belgium, she burst onto the scene by marrying Prince Egon von Furstenberg, a handsome German aristocrat. With the title of princess, she moved to New York and conquered the fashion world. Her secret weapon was the wrap dress, a simple yet revolutionary garment that became a symbol of female liberation in the 1970s. It was more than just a dress, it was a statement. It represented freedom, power, and a new kind of femininity. Diane became the queen of 1970s New York, a fixture at the legendary Studio 54, dancing with Andy Warhol and mingling with the world's most famous artists and intellectuals. She was the embodiment of the empowered, modern woman she designed for. On the other side of the city, in the cutthroat world of Hollywood, Barry Diller was carving out his own kingdom. He was a ruthless media executive, a visionary with an instinct for hits, earning the nickname Killer Diller for his sharp mind and brutal business tactics. He was the force behind Paramount Pictures and later created the Fox television network, greenlighting iconic shows like The Simpsons. He was a man who built empires and crushed his competition. They were two titans moving in different, powerful worlds, but their collision was inevitable, and it would create sparks that would last a lifetime. Their paths finally crossed in 1975 at a party hosted by a mutual friend. It was an encounter DVF would later describe as the Big Bang. The attraction was instantaneous, a magnetic pull that neither could ignore. At the time, Diane was in an open marriage with her prince, a famously modern arrangement that allowed both of them the freedom to pursue other relationships. This unique situation opened the door for her and Diller to begin a fiery, passionate affair that would define their dynamic for years. It was a romance lived in the public eye, but with private rules, a whirlwind of passion that saw them become one of New York's most talked about on-again, off-again couples. They were a power couple before the term was even invented. Two ambitious, brilliant people drawn together by an undeniable chemistry, but just as quickly and intensely as it began, it fizzled out. After years of this passionate connection, the couple suddenly and completely split, leading to a mysterious and total separation. The silence was deafening. For 10 long years, they did not speak a single word to each other. The reasons for this decade-long silence remain a subject of intense speculation. Some insiders whisper that the intensity was simply too much to sustain, that their two powerful personalities were bound to clash. Others believe their soaring career ambitions pulled them in opposite directions, with Diller focused on conquering Hollywood and DVF expanding her global fashion brand. Diane herself has admitted that their dynamic was volatile, a beautiful but explosive combination. This 10-year gap in their epic love story remains one of its most enigmatic chapters, a period of quiet that left everyone wondering what could have possibly gone wrong. During their years apart, neither Diane nor Barry lived a quiet life. They continued to move in the same elite social circles, but remarkably, never crossed paths. It was as if they had an unspoken agreement to inhabit different corners of the same small world. Each embarked on relationships with other high-profile figures. DVF was linked to several famous men, continuing to build her brand and live her life with the unapologetic freedom she always preached. Diller, meanwhile, continued his relentless ascent to the highest echelons of the media world, his private life becoming even more shrouded in mystery. The whispers and rumors about him grew, but his immense power kept them from ever breaking into the mainstream. Their lives were running on parallel tracks, two brilliant comets streaking across the same sky, seemingly destined never to meet again. The long, cold silence was finally broken, not with a dramatic confrontation, but with a quiet, persistent effort. After a decade of no contact, it was Diller who made the first move. He began to pursue Diane once more, not with grand public gestures, but with thoughtful, private ones. He sent her flowers, gifts, and notes, making his intentions clear. He wanted her back. At first, she was hesitant, wounded by their past, and unsure if they could ever overcome the issues that had driven them apart. She had built a new life for herself and was wary of reopening old wounds. But Diller was famously persistent, a man who rarely took no for an answer. His steady, patient efforts eventually wore down her resistance, and she finally agreed to see him again. They began dating, this time with a maturity and understanding that had been missing in their youth. The fiery passion was still there, but it was now tempered with a deeper, more stable connection forged by time and experience. Years into their rekindled romance, the dynamic shifted with a simple, almost offhand, conversation that would change everything. DVF, after so many years of their unconventional arrangement, began to feel the need for a more defined commitment. She casually told Barry that she was shopping for a husband, a lighthearted comment that carried a serious weight. Not long after, as they were driving through the city, Diller turned to her in the car and said, with his typical lack of ceremony, "You know, if you're serious, you should marry me." It wasn't a grand, romantic proposal on bended knee. It was a pragmatic, straightforward declaration from a man who had finally made up his mind. For Diane, it was all she needed to hear. That simple statement sealed a decades-long, on-and-off courtship and set the stage for their next chapter. In 2001, Diane von Furstenberg and Barry Diller were married at City Hall in New York. It was a surprisingly low-key affair for a couple of their immense wealth and stature. There was no lavish ceremony, no star-studded guest list, no press. It was a simple, private moment that marked a monumental shift in their relationship. As a wedding gift, Diller gave Diane something far more meaningful than a diamond. He presented her with 26 gold charm bracelets, one for each year he had known her up to that point. Each bracelet was adorned with charms that represented a different aspect of her life, her personality, and their shared history. It was a deeply personal and symbolic gesture that spoke volumes about their long, complicated, and loving journey together. It was a quiet acknowledgement of everything they had been through to get to that day. Even as they settled into married life, the whispers that had followed Barry Diller for his entire career never fully faded. In the closed, insular circles of Hollywood, his sexuality was what many considered an open secret, a topic of constant speculation and gossip. How could one of the most powerful men in media, a man known for his tough, masculine image, be married to one of the world's most desired women while also being gay? The question lingered for years, a persistent rumor that existed just beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect public life. For decades, it remained just that, a rumor, a piece of Hollywood lore that was never confirmed. Diller's power was such that no one dared to ask the question publicly. Then, in a revealing 2024 interview on CBS Sunday Morning, the whispers became a public conversation. At the age of 82, Diller finally decided to address the long-standing speculation head-on. He spoke with remarkable candor about his first sexual encounter with a man at the age of 16, admitting that for years, he didn't even tell himself the truth. He recounted how he tried to dismiss it as a one-time event, an anomaly he could ignore. But he couldn't. The public confirmation was a bombshell, a moment that sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. But the biggest revelation, the one that truly explained the nature of his bond with Diane, was yet to come. In an excerpt from his memoir, Who Knew, published in New York Magazine, Diller made a statement that stunned the world and redefined his relationship with Diane forever. "Yes, I also liked guys," he wrote with stark honesty. "But that was not a conflict with my love for Diane. I can't explain it to myself or to the world." This was the core of their unconventional bond, the truth that they had lived with privately for decades. He was admitting that he was a gay man who was, and always had been, deeply and completely in love with his wife. The statement was a paradox that few could comprehend, but for them, it was simply their truth. In the wake of her husband's public coming out, the world turned to Diane for her reaction. Everyone wanted to know what she thought, how she felt. She responded not with a carefully crafted press release from a publicist, but with a raw, heartfelt post on Instagram. Celebrating the 50th anniversary of their Big Bang, she shared a photo of them from their early days and wrote of unconditional love. She thanked Barry for opening the door to his heart and, more importantly, for never closing it. Her statement was a powerful public testament to their unbreakable bond. It showed the world that their love wasn't just real, but that it was strong enough to withstand any revelation and defy any label. She stood by him without hesitation, proving their partnership was built on something far deeper than convention. Their marriage, once seen as a powerful union of two influential figures, was now viewed in a completely new light. It was a partnership that transcended traditional definitions of love, sexuality, and commitment. They had forged their own path, creating a relationship that worked for them, completely independent of societal expectations or norms. Their story became a focal point for conversations about modern relationships, proving that a deep, loving, and lifelong connection doesn't have to fit into a predetermined box. They had created their own blueprint for a partnership, one based on radical honesty and mutual acceptance. In a world that is obsessed with labels and categories, Diane and Barry's story forces us to ask bigger, more profound questions. Does love have to be defined by sexuality? Can two people build a life together based on a connection that goes beyond physical intimacy? They are the living proof that a partnership can be built on mutual respect, a profound friendship, and an unbreakable emotional and spiritual bond. Their journey challenges the very notion of what a marriage is supposed to be, offering a new, more expansive perspective on what it truly means to be soulmates. The love story of Diane von Furstenberg and Barry Diller is more than just a Hollywood romance. It's a revolutionary tale of identity, acceptance, and a love that knows no bounds. For 50 years, they have navigated a complex and beautiful relationship, building a life and two global empires side by side. Their journey proves that the strongest bonds are not defined by societal norms or rigid labels, but by a connection so profound that it can weather any storm, overcome any obstacle, and rewrite all the rules. They are a testament to a love that, in its own cosmic and inexplicable way, was simply and truly destined to be.